Game show. We're going to talk about Winterfest, which is 2 days away. Actually, part of it starts tomorrow. So I'm going to turn it over to Thor, who's in charge of Winterfest, and he's going to tell you all the things we need and what's been going on, and how many of you have not volunteered yet? Okay, we got 2 people here. We signed somewhere. Anybody else not volunteered? Kirk, what do you want to do? We'll talk about it later. Okay. Thanks. Anyhow, here's Thor.
Thanks. Hello. I'm going to pass these things around. If you don't have a way to get to this spreadsheet, there's one page for Saturday and a stapled page for Sunday. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about other than I wanted to thank everyone for their patience during the planning process and their willingness to participate and donate time. This is a big event for the club. It raises the majority of the money that we use to operate, and it's a lot of fun. It's also a lot of work, and we've got this long list of volunteers who have signed up for various times and to help out with various things. The spreadsheet can be a little confusing. This page just captured all the form entries that people submitted, and then these 2 tabs here just transpose those and break out people into hours, and then there's some summary pages that follow, which are what are being passed around. And although it says assignments, we're all friends. We're all trying to get the most out of the event, so everything's flexible. If you see the list and you see, oh, they put me on this thing that I really don't want to do, that's not a problem. Just coordinate with someone, me or anyone else, and we'll get the jobs covered. The point is to have fun and look like you're having fun, because that makes everyone else have fun. A couple of things I wanted to point out on the assignments on Sunday. We're pretty short with people to help with parking in the morning. That's a big deal between maybe 5:30 and 10. So if anyone's willing to help out there, it would be greatly appreciated. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to commit now. You can commit Sunday morning. But just know that that's a place where we have difficulty, because if we don't get a handle on it as people are coming in early, they park in the wrong spots and it causes a backup and it just snowballs. So we'll try to get a handle on that. Yeah, this is the picture of, well, on Saturday. This just breaks out by hour and job, how many people we've got assigned to the various things. And I tried to put 2 people on every spot, just in case someone has to run an unexpected errand or back out or something. Plus, it's an hour. You might need a restroom break or something. So we're short, like I said, parking. Everything else on Saturday is pretty well covered. And this one's going to be too wide to really see effectively on the screen, but the same kind of breakout. Things start up around 5, but not for everyone on Sunday. And majority of that will be loading dock and parking early as the morning begins. In fact, if you show up early, know that we can't get inside until 6 a.m., I believe. Yeah. So bring a jacket or something. I think that's about it. This column here, Porter, I think someone, maybe it was Doug, volunteered to help with that. The other 3, you'll see referenced on the the sheet says Martindale 1, 2, and 3. They're daughters of a club member who have helped out as long as I've been around, and they're a great help. So they'll be available and helping to get things off of vendors' trucks through the loading dock and off to the tables. I think that's really all I had to say. Sunday, after the whole thing is over, it's a tradition to go out for pizza. I think the venue is still undecided, but the plan is to do that. So if you still got energy, you're welcome to join us for pizza afterwards.
Does everybody know what they signed up for? Anybody have any questions about what you signed up for? Then who are the people that signed up for parking besides me? There were 2 up there at 6. You did? All right. Anybody else? You guys are, so you're going to leave it up to the 2 of us? Good luck. Oh, you're parking? All right. Another parking volunteer? You're tailgating? Then there was a question from the treasurer for you, and that is, would you, he wants to give you the bank for the tailgaters because they have to pay. And he wants to give it to you tomorrow because he won't be there early on Sunday. Is that okay? You talk to Terry afterwards. Okay, thanks. Sorry, Thor.
That's quite all right. Like I said, I really don't have much else prepared to say. So, Mike?
Get a computer listing of this that says, here's where I'm working? I don't remember what I signed up for.
I don't either.
Grab one of these sheets that's floating around, or I can print one off for you. Or you can get to this, but I can print them off. I'll have a couple of these on site too, both days.
Tell me exactly where I'm working on
Yep.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yep. That's you.
Okay.
This is Sunday. So find you and work your way back over to the time. Yep.
2 to 6 on Saturday and 5 to 6 on Sunday.
Okay, good. So that's how I use the chart. So it's names across the top. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Does. With one exception, you'll see, besides the Martindales, there's an HC who is Howard Cunningham. I couldn't remember his call.
And so this is a web thing that we can get off the website or something?
Yeah. Yeah. I shared it using that thing at about 6 today. I know it looks like Jack found it and Corey. I can send you a URL too.
Cool.
I guess the one last thing to mention is that if you do show up Saturday and you haven't heard, please don't show up before 2. That's when we officially get into the space. And the more people milling about, the less likely we are to get in early. So, yes.
A list of the call signs versus the person's name. Next making up the staff badges.
Oh, yes.
And it would not have to coordinate between the call sign.
Yeah, I got you. Yep. Everyone except for Howard Cunningham. Oh, yeah, I think I just put your call in.
On the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I got an email that, I'm guessing we had this on it when you said about 6 o'clock, but I could not open it.
Okay.
The part that says volunteer roster there. I clicked on it, but did not make it.
Gotcha. Well, I'll make sure I send you that list, that maps, yeah. It's not right now, no, I just shared it with the folks who are listed on the spreadsheet. And I didn't share it with everyone just because one of those tabs has phone numbers, and I don't know if people want those being shared. But yeah. Right, so like I said, at 6, I clicked that little share button, and I dropped in email addresses for everyone that's in the spreadsheet. So if that's you, you'll get something that looks like this. And I guess I don't fully understand why it doesn't work for everyone. If it doesn't work for you, let me know. I can print it out or find another way to get you a copy. I've been avoiding sending out a downloaded Excel version of it just because it branches it, and I don't know which version people have. And
People that are on the list?
He sent the link to people on the list.
anyone else have any questions, comments? Yes, Lee.
Don't worry, just show up.
Yeah.
We have leads, everybody knows who the leads are, and they'll find you work to do, no problem. Okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For things from the club table, what time do you
Well, preferably start bringing stuff in Saturday. Well, the tables aren't probably going to be set up until at least 3. So there's no point, so probably between 3:30 and 6. Because there's no point just piling stuff on the floor until we get tables up and all.
He's going to be so glad to be done.
Gary, you had a question?
Like the frequency for
Talk around.
415 was the last I saw. Does anybody have a correction to that? Mike, did you want to say anything about tables at this point?
So we have 55 vendors who have signed up, and a vendor is typically either a company, thank you, is either a company or an individual. It's about 10 companies and about 28 individual vendors. And then there's a group of clubs, and the clubs or other activities are either in one of two categories. We are comping their attendance because they trade with us and we get a table at their ham fest. Old Virginia Hams is an example of a club who's comped. We comp ARRL. We comp ourselves, Vienna Wireless, who has something like 9 tables set up. And Lee, best I can guess, you're going to use every one of those 9 tables for the stuff you have been collecting. So it sounds like a lot of tables. So the bottom line is we have sold 116 tables, of which we typically only have 112 that we usually bring in the room. And don't worry about the math. There's a little bit of tricky math going on there. So we are basically sold out. I do have 4 tables available if somebody wants to buy a table tonight that I've kind of squirreled away and hidden in the process. So table sales are basically sold out, comma, I'm holding on 4 tables for last minutes. And if somebody has a last minute need, come see me and I'll put you in on one of those 4 tables.
If tailgaters want to move inside?
The tailgaters who have so far contacted me have all said they want to be out in the tailgating area. And in fact, I will hope that we will find ways to go out into the tailgating area and participate with those folks so that they don't feel like they're orphaned, because the tailgating area is not really integral with the building itself.
So what we're going to do is announce free donuts in the tailgating area. There won't be any donuts. We're just going to announce it. Say, oh, they're all gone. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else about?
No, that's fine.
So I have an announcement on behalf of Scott, KD4EBL, who is our door prize person. As you know, we're going to have door prizes this year, and they're going to be fairly extensive. He has enough so that every hour he's going to have a door prize. Every half hour. Thank you. Door prize drawing, and they're all going to be given away. If you have to be present to win. You have to have bought a ticket to win. So you have a complimentary ticket. You're now not eligible for a door prize, nor are employees of the company that's doing the door prize. Just kidding. If you want to participate in the door prizes, buy a ticket. There's nothing wrong with you buying a ticket. And but he's going to draw all the prizes that are left over at 1 o'clock. So all prizes will be given away. And if you want a list of the prizes, he sent out something. Come talk to me and I'll tell you what they are. It was largely gift cards, but some books and a few other things. So that's from Scott. And he says he hopes more people will buy tickets. It's one of our income sources. All right, anything else on Field Day? No? Any other questions about Field Day? I'm sorry, Winterfest. Oh, man. Ross, you want to talk about that? No, just kidding. Okay.
Let's kind of do the high order thing, kind of to close it, if you don't mind, Thor. That is to say, Saturday, there'll be a small group of people that show up early. Those people know who they are. The rest of us should show up about 2 o'clock. It's best if you showed up over by the loading dock door as opposed to the front entrance of the Ernst Center, because frankly, we want to minimize what it looks like our footprint is at that 2 o'clock hour. There are going to be a whole bunch of vendors who are showing up about 2 o'clock that need to be offloaded. The more we can help them get offloaded. Now, some don't want our help, don't need our help, don't want us to touch their beautiful treasures, and that's fine. But we want to help them get in and set up and out. We want them to offload their stuff out of their car, and they can set it up at their convenience inside and get their car out of there, because we can only do, what, carry maybe 10 cars at a time, maybe?
Seven.
Yeah, so there's a constraint in the loading dock area. We have to be out of the gym by 7. But really, what I've been telling vendors, show up around 2, maybe closer to 3, show up at 2, be out by 6, because we're shutting our doors. Because there will be vendors who show up a little bit later than 6. So if I say 6, maybe it'll be 7. If I say 7, we're out of there, because the doors have to lock by the janitors. Next morning, so porters are needed on Saturday afternoon. There's also setups and stuff like that. And Stephen, I don't see you here. Oh, there you go. You got your team for tables and you're pretty well set. You don't need any help, right? And you don't want a bunch of people helping with the tables because you've got a routine. You don't want a swarm of people showing up, correct?
One or two more to help, just in
So
case.
1 or 2 more. So we'll, again, the loading dock is the place. And then it will use the radio frequency 146.415 to talk to everybody about, okay, I need 2 more people over here. We need a parking guy to manage parking on Saturday afternoon to help people find the loading dock. So the loading dock area is where we want people. We want to put you to work being porters first, but there are going to be other tasks.
Yes, I'm confused. The vendors and the tables will be arriving at the same time?
Now, tables come before vendors.
The tables will arrive before we're allowed in there?
Stephen?
Tables will arrive supposedly at 1. That's when I'd ask for them. But usually the table delivery people there show up around noon. One of these days they're going to show up not until 2, so who knows? You know, I don't control that. It's just what time I ask for one.
So it's a little bit loose when we play it by ear. We're good stewards with the folks there, and because we don't push, they usually let us in before, quote, our allocated time. But the whole goal is that we will not be moving people in until the table guys say it's time to start moving in. Okay, now we've got a couple big vendors who go against the walls, and so my preference would be get the A tables in first, the G tables second, and that way those 2 vendors who are the lion's share of the vendor tables can kind of begin to do some stuff while the center part of the tables get set up. But that's just something that happens if it happens. So the answer is, yeah, we hope to have the tables in place before the vendors show up, and that we can start putting vendors in at 2 o'clock. I've told the vendors, plan between 2 and 3. Okay, that's Saturday. We lock the doors, go home, come back the next morning. Yeah, the parking guys need to show up early, but frankly, you can't get into the Ernst Center until 6 o'clock. There will be at least 5 or 6 of the vendors that I know personally that I've been working with that aren't going to come down Saturday, go home and come back on Sunday. They're going to come in Sunday morning to set up. And so I've told them 6 o'clock, but you have to be in place by 7:30 because the doors open at 8 o'clock. The big team that's got to work things out in the morning is the table sales team. They've got to get themselves organized in place before 7:30 because there's going to be a whole bunch of cold people trying to work their way into the Ernst Center where it's warm, and they would like to get into the gym and be the first guy to buy that icon hat. And frankly, Tim and his team have got to be well oiled to get those people and that slug of people that show up at 8 o'clock through ticket sales. There'll be a ticket that everybody buys. The ticket will have 3 parts to it. Part 1, these are for the folks that are not Vienna Wireless folks. Part 1 of that ticket is essentially their name and phone number. Part 2 of that ticket is their ticket to get in the door. Part 3 of that ticket is the same ticket number, a third element, that it goes into the door prize. You're not going to win a door prize if you don't put a ticket in the door prize barrel. You get 2 tickets and a stub. Leave the stub with Tim's team. You get 2 tickets. You walk in the door. One is your entrance and exit out. The second one is what you put into the raffle ticket. So 8 to 10 is when they're busy. Parking's busy between 6:30 and probably 10 o'clock, and then it slows down. Then we play and we have fun, and vendors begin to start wrapping up about 1-ish. You'll see some of them start pulling out because they want to get home. Some have a 4 or 5 hour trip to drive home. And so we want them to be out of there by what time? 4 o'clock, right? And we have to be out of the gym by 4 o'clock. We have to be out of the atrium area by 2 o'clock. Does that timeline help everybody understand what goes on in Winterfest?
Harry, quick question. We need to move on, so.
If we get asked, should we know anything about VE testing? 11 to 1. I mean, is that all we tell people?
It's 11 to 1. It's upstairs in a room that's you'll have to ask directions for.
Tim, your team needs to know all about that so that you can get people to the right, explain to them where they're going. Because they're going to ask you as the point of departure. Tim's running the tables.
And we're charging $15 for VE testing?
It's an ARRL VE, so yes, we have no choice, $15. And if you have any questions, email Howard or Pete. Email Pete. All right, we have a little bit of a time constraint tonight because Mike, AE4R, has got a wonderful presentation and he needs the full hour. So we're going to move quickly into a business meeting unless anybody has anything else that really needs to be resolved with regard to Winterfest, not Field Day, Winterfest